About the other wife.
But hold on.
What the best person give advice?
Huh?
The best person give advice about
No,
the
no, no, no,
relationship.
no, no, no. If it is you want to have a marriage where you have more than one wife, you need to keep them separate. You need to keep this business from that business.
Let's listen to Brother Malik.
I'm going to mention 2 points. The first one is that a lot of these things, issues, are symptoms of a greater cause. And the root cause is basically a lack of iman. Problems will arise, it's just a matter of how you deal with them. If you have a correct family, a correct therapy. The second thing I'm going to mention, Dr. Rizal mentioned in his development in the morning, about how like the hierarchy of needs. And the highest need was self-actualization. And when someone is self-actualized, he lives for other people, he's there for himself for other people. So someone who is at the stage, he's not going to marry for his own greed or for his own interest. He's going to marry to help the other person just as much as he wants to help himself. So on this basis, if someone wants to attain this high level of sort of fulfilling his need by helping others, he's going to want to marry to help the other person just as much as he wants to help himself. So again, if someone wants to embody this, he'd be marrying a second person not for just the pleasure of himself. He'd be married to help them. For example, a widow or an orphan or usual. Also, a lot of these problems, if we look at the seerah, like some of the Sahaba in their marriages, for example, again, there was divorce, there were a few things, but a lot of these are just repetitive throughout the ages. So if you look at history, we will sort of know how to deal with these issues.
I just want to make a comment. Remember that marriage is not only because somebody wants to help somebody out. There are different reasons why people get married. You know, and it doesn't always be that, okay, I need to help you out. This is why I'm getting a second wife or two wives.
Or is that the excuse?
Huh?
Or is that the excuse?
No, to me, my way of thinking is whatever you need to use as your excuse, it doesn't really resonate with me because okay, Allah said you can do it. That's your
That's fine.
That's fine. It just comes down to the fact that Allah said that okay, you can do it. It means that I can handle it.
So that's what you're saying about iman and taqwa and so on.
But what it is, I thought you were saying is that brothers will marry sisters because they want to help that person.
No, I don't think.
When Allah allows the context of allowing polygamy in the Quran, in the first page of Surah An-Nisa, it's in the context of orphans and wanting to help orphans. So you marry them to help them. This is the context of it. So the idea behind marrying, it's allowed, but the idea behind it is that sort of you're marrying sort of to help the other person. This is the context of it. Of course, someone could marry just because he likes the first person, the second. That's fine, but the context behind it is that you're here to help people. So that's, yeah.
So you're taking basically like a hint from the ayah.
Exactly.
Yes, and not necessarily that can be the only reason why.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, yes, sister.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've read, I believe that in the social construct of things at that particular time, there were very little people who would marry. Marriage was almost like not getting married now. So like in our time, you will find that people would prefer not to be married versus being married. But at that point in time, people were, that was something that all had to do socially, basically. And I understand what he's saying about it being, it's not like a condition, but like you said, the context in which it was allowed. It's not like you can't do it now at all, but that is the basis of the reason. And I think that we would have consistently mentioned we were looking at things in context. And looking at the tafsir, and looking at the hadith, and looking at the context of everything.
Right. Well, still at the end of the day, what we are saying and we are agreeing is that it's an open general permissibility that does not have to depend on whether the person is an orphan or just because the person is in need and so on. But Asim, oh, so yes.
At what point in a marriage is a man unfaithful with you?
So, say again, unfaithful with?
At what point is a Muslim man considered to be unfaithful in a marriage since he's allowed, since polygamy is allowed in Islam? So, yes, you can have other wives, but at which point is he unfaithful?
I'm not sure if I get it clearly.
What she's asking
you're married and you want to get married to someone else, how do you go about that speaking and because
The-
explain what she's offering.
yes, you're saying at what point is a man considered to be unfaithful? From there, I'm not getting it clearly. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But at what point is he unfaithful? Like if it is that he might be interested in somebody, but he probably doesn't want to get married at this time.
So at one point when he starts searching, 5 minutes after the wedding, a day after, 3 days after, months after.
No, but the point unfaithful that comes in there, this is the point that I'm not really understanding. Clearly, I believe the sister can explain for herself so we understand clearly. Are you saying that, well, if it will be considered like when the man starts searching for another wife, if that will be considered unfaithfulness to the first wife?
I don't understand like when the time is
Uh-huh.
can like sit down for another wife.
Okay, I think I get what you're saying. So he's married to one person. You're supposed to be faithful to that person, but then he now starts speaking to somebody else because he hopes to get married to somebody else. So you're asking if there's a line there that will can be considered unfaithfulness whilst he claims to be searching. Is that it? Okay. Anybody wants to answer that?
In Islam, Wallahu a'lam, polygamy is not something like you have to do or you necessarily should do. It's allowed. The same way, for example, if I'm married, I'm allowed to divorce, but I'm not going to divorce only if there's a reason for it. Like I could be causing more harm than good. Just because something is allowed to do doesn't mean you should do it or you have to do it. So the same idea here. It's not like we should like have polygamy. It's just allowed in the case where society, this is the best course of action. Of course, people are more aware and more knowledgeable and more knowing of whether it's of more benefit or greater harm. If there's a greater harm in polygamy in this place, in this society, then of course you don't just say, okay, it's halal, I'm allowed to do it, and you just do it. So the idea is, we apply it as intelligent human beings. We can put things into perspective and we could sort of weigh out the pros and cons of everything.
All right, good. So I just want to, again, just highlight a few points here, again, to put things into a little bit more perspective. First of all, we're saying that the Quran allows polygamy. All right? Yeah, man, almost time to close. The Quran allows polygamy. All right? That's one. So it is halal. But then we're saying at the same time that there are certain conditions it must you must go about it in a certain way so that it will be reasonable or acceptable. First of all, where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that there must be total adala, we must strive for justice in what we are doing. And if the person is or intends to go about getting a second wife, for example, what are the considerations in doing so? Now, and this will touch on the question that the sister asked. There are people who get married to a second wife, or perhaps more, and they do it secretly. And I know this is, well, at least I know of this happening in Guyana. I guess it's the same here and different places. And this itself leads to a lot of problems in itself when it is when the process or the way in which we go about doing it is not acceptable. It is done in a wrong way. Because first of all, where marriage is concerned, the Prophet ﷺ said that there is something called a walima. What is a walima? Walima is the feast, right? The feast. And when Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu got married, and he came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, I've gotten married. What did he tell him to do? Awlim walau bisha. Right? Do a walima, even if it's just you just have a sheep that you can slaughter and you can feed some people. What the scholars explain the benefit of this. What is the benefit of the walima? Huh? Al-i'lan. to declare this marriage so that people know that these two people are married. There is no longer any tuhma, any accusation. And I know for a fact that there are people who get married secretly and then they're accused of going around with other people simply because they have not announced that they have gotten married to somebody else. So everybody knows he has one wife home, but then they see him somewhere else with somebody else. And so it leads to a lot of problems. First of all, the wife gets the shock of her life. It can lead to the breakup of the marriage itself right away, that first marriage. And so these are considerations, before I come to the sister, these are considerations now. And how do we weigh priorities? Is it that somebody says, well, okay, I want to get married to a second wife, and it will lead to the breakup of the first marriage in the process? Or, you know, to enmity between families and all of these things that can happen. So many considerations before somebody actually embarks on this. The reason must be there. The person must know that, first of all, he can handle the situation, and he has also, I think, discussed it with the first family. I think this is extremely important. Maybe not everybody will agree with that, but I believe that is extremely important to actually discuss this with the first family and at least come to an understanding. Or else it will lead to, you know, to detrimental consequences in the end. All right? And